Hey guys, welcome back to the Record Room. I'm of course your host Tony Joel's TG, and today we're talking about something a little bit Grail-ish. I mean, it's definitely up there, especially if you are a fan of Sabbath. I mean, if you are a fan of that first album, this is the one to have. I feel so incredibly fortunate to own this album. I honestly didn't think I would ever come across one of these. Sure, you can go online and you can hunt one down. I don't do that anymore. I'm not a Discogs person. I'll occasionally buy stuff on eBay, but for me now, it's as much about the hunt or the chase. I'd rather come across something in the wild. And so, because of that, there are two people I want to thank before we get into the video. I want to thank Grant from Vinyl Shakedown in Burbage for cutting a great deal on this record and for letting me know that he had it and, he would take care of me if I chose to go through with the purchase. And the second one is actually my dad, who was with me in the shop on the day of Ozzy's birthday. This past Wednesday, we celebrated what would have been Ozzy's 77th birthday. And he helped me get it, basically. I'm getting a bit tongue-tied because I'm still kind of shocked about owning this record. But so thank you to my father and Grant of Vinyl Shakedown for helping me get this record. And over the years, I've collected many Sabbath records. I've recorded videos on Sabbath before on this channel. It's not news to anybody that I am a Sabbath fan. Over the years, I've had different variations on all of the albums, pretty much all of the Ozzy albums anyway. So I don't actually have a massive wealth of the first album. And for the longest time, my go-to was this copy here. Now, this copy might look like it's in fantastic shape, and it really is. It's absolutely fantastic. And when I bought this believing this was a third press of the album or something like that. I mean, it came with, look at how white and crispy this is. I didn't think anything of it, but then I started to look at the album and thought, you know what? This is a little bit too clean, considering the album was at the time like 35 years old, something like that. I think the album's, what's the album now? 50 plus years old. I was concerned. I had concerns. I didn't pay a huge amount for it, I will admit that. But yeah, it's a bootleg. It's a good one. It's a nice one. It's very well done bootleg. The inside, I mean, it looks great. It's even got, the kind of the misspelling of Ozzy's name, which was changed later on, but the first few versions of this album had the misspelling of Ozzy's name. The credits, I'll get into that when we talk about the first one. But yeah, I for the longest time had this version of the album, and you know what? It never bothered me how it sounded, because it sounded pretty good. But yeah, it's a bootleg. No two ways about it. It is a through and through bootleg. C'est la vie. It is one of those things. I've had it for years. At the time I bought it, I didn't know, and that was totally fine. And then a few years ago, well, I say a few years ago, what was it, 2017? 2017, it was around 2017. The American market got the Rhino Black Sabbath. This is like a deluxe version. And I've always liked the American looking pressings because I'm a big fan of the old school Warner's logo. The sound quality on this, the American pressings of Sabbath records, they don't sound as good to me. That's just me. They still sound good, but the English ones just sound better to me. And over the years, I have had different copies of this that I've like traded or sold on. I've had NEMS copies and other Vertigo versions, but I picked this up because I like the Warner Brothers logo. I like seeing Sabbath on Warner Brothers, and this actually comes with, up here you can see, this has a second disc of bonus tracks, which at the time I believe was the first time they were on vinyl. Now they are available. You can buy them in the UK. I think you can get them most places, but yeah, it's just bonus material, stuff we've all heard, many times by now, but at the time it was fun to hear this stuff. And so when I got this, I was just a fan of seeing Black Sabbath on the Warner label. I just thought it was pretty cool. And I'll show you this because I actually saved some of this stuff. That's my ticket from the final Black Sabbath show in Birmingham, I believe. Was this the final one? I think it was. Yeah, so I went to that show. I wasn't at the Back to the Beginning show for various reasons, but I was at that one. And I collected this off the floor because I'm like that, but there was Black Sabbath confetti like just exploding over the arena at the end of the show. It's very cool. So I like the Black Sabbath on Warner's. Not my go-to listen album, but I like having it. I like seeing it. I've always, in the back of my mind, like first presses would be great. Really would. But there's a couple of like anomalies, especially with the first two Black Sabbath albums and Master of Reality as well. But if we talk about Paranoid for a second, the second Black Sabbath album. Now, the second pressing of that, or what is deemed the second pressing, is virtually identical to the first version, but it just has a management credit that's different in the sleeve. That's, as far as I know, all that's different is a managing credit. That's it. I think it was on the first press and then removed very quickly afterwards, but the record itself, the actual stamper and everything is the same. So I have a second pressing of Paranoid, which I got not too long ago. Not massively expensive, towards the £100 mark, but not stupidly crazy. And it sounds fantastic. And when it comes to the first album, when it comes to Black Sabbath, there are a few different versions of this. But the true first pressing of this album has a couple of things that the others didn't have. And I don't know if it makes it sound better. I've heard from people that have other first pressings, but not the actual first pressing, that it does sound slightly different, a little bit more balls to it. But this version right here, this is a true blue first pressing, and you can tell that because on the label, just underneath the Vertigo, it says a Philips product. This version was pressed by Philips. What was it? Phonodisc, I believe. And so this version, I don't know exactly how many of them were actually made with this Philips credit, but it was taken away very quickly. So what you're seeing here, I'll show you the A there, but the Philips version of the first Black Sabbath album, this is a true blue first pressing of this album. Now, obviously, Vertigo was a subsidiary of Philips in much the same way that, Harvest was an offshoot of Island. And so having a Philips Vertigo first Sabbath is like, it's up there. If you're a Sabbath fan, like that's the one to have. And after listening to the album, I got it on Wednesday, brought it home, cleaned it, and I sat down and I listened to it. And I have listened to this album hundreds of times from start to finish. Like a lot of you guys out there, I'm a massive Sabbath fan. I don't need to keep saying that, but I know this album inside and out. I genuinely do. And when I listen to this album, and again, I'm not just being hyperbolic here. I'm not just saying this because I have one. It sounded fantastic. I genuinely heard it almost in a new light. It was fantastic. It was dynamic. Ozzy's vocals sounded amazing. It was just a real experience for me to sit down and actually listen to this album. And I'll show you the jacket as well. The jacket is not in the best shape, not mint, but again, it's like 50 plus years old, but you know, it's got some sleeve wear and some dings, and you know, I'm happy that the person that had this before me listened to it. They listened to it and chose to love it. And it does come with its original Vertigo in a bag. And one of the things that my boot has that isn't on the original. There's only this warning down here is only printed on one side where it says plastic bags can be dangerous. It should only be on one side. So there you go. Comes with the original Vertigo swirl in a sleeve. And then if you do open up, so you know it does, it looks the same. There you go, Black Sabbath. And it does have the, it's not a misspelling because it is technically, it does say Ozzy Osbourne, but it does say O-S-S-I-E instead of the O-double-Z. And there's also a couple of other little credits. Where is it? It's about the stereo cartridge or something. Or the copyright consists, yeah, instead of saying Vertigo, it says stereo recordings. Its copyright subsists in all stereo recordings, and it should actually say copyright subsists in all Vertigo recordings. So that was changed as well. So there are a few differences to having this, from later on pressings. I believe the second pressing of this, where all the names are, excuse me, where all the names of the band members are capitalized here, on future pressings they were just done like they were alphabetized, so the first letter was capital and then the rest was lowercase, but on this first pressing everything is in uppercase. So the more you know, but this is an absolutely fantastic record. The spine is still nice. It's in great shape. It really is. I'm truly grateful to Grant at Vinyl Shakedown for thinking of me when this came in the shop. And also, you know, I wouldn't have this if it wasn't for my father, so thank you to him as well. And just, I genuinely cannot believe that I own the first Sabbath album, the first version. It does sound different. It is very cool. I'm stoked to be able to make this video, and listening to this album is just next level for me. It really is. I have a nice Sabbath collection, a really nice Sabbath collection, and now it's just a little bit nicer. So yeah, truly humbled and grateful to be able to record this video. What about you guys out there? Are you Sabbath fans? Do you own a Philips version of the first album, or which version do you have that you enjoy? I know people that have got some of the NEMS pressings or some German pressings. Everyone said, oh, it sounds great. You know, it was just a great album. I don't own the new Rhino hi-fi pressing, which according to some is the greatest version of this album, but I don't know. I am very happy, and I don't know if I'm going to be looking to add any more copies to my collection now I have this. Do reach out and let me know. I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. And remember, if you haven't already clicked that subscribe button, it would mean the world to me. But for now, stay gold and spin those blackest circles.